name is Cassandra with Stitch Witch Creations, and I'm going to give you a cap as to what I've made this week and kind of give you my goals for what I'm working on for next week. For those of you who are in my local area, next weekend we are May 2nd and 3rd. I'm going to be at Alexandria's River Fete. I'm going to be part of Indie Village, which is where all of the small business and crafters are going to be. So that's kind of what I've been prepping for. And it's been a lot, but I'm getting there. So let's go ahead and get into it. I actually wrote down my patterns that I used this time around. So we shall get going. And then I also want to tell y'all what all I'm going to be working on next week as well. So next week, I ended up having to post this video a day later than I have been, which I've only ever done one other video of what I've made this week. But I had a busier week than I expected. But I'm not complaining because it was a good week. So let's get right into it. For our first guy we've got is I made a little car. I got him finished. This pattern is by Amigurumism. I will put her name probably right about here. Editing me can take care of that later. It is from her 10 Little Cars pattern. It's just like it says, it's 10 different cars. And this pattern was actually pretty cool to do. It was starts off with like a rectangle on the bottom, and then you start working around the rounds. There's a good bit of color changes here and a little bit of embroidery for to mark off the windows. And I had to embroider the headlights on, which I did embroider the headlights with glow-in-the-dark yarn because I love glow-in-the-dark yarn. So there's that one. Don't have too much to say. I will say I did end up freehanding the wheels, and that was honestly just because I did not feel like pulling the pattern up to do the wheels. I mean, it was 4 circles. So I do want to, when I'm not in as much of a time crunch, try to figure out how to put them on to where they can spin, but that's a later problem for a later day. Right now that's just wasn't feasible for me. Let's see what I got next. My little bag of tricks. I made another mermaid itty bitty pop. It is Itty Bitty Mermaid Pop by Cable and Canvas. I used a lot of Cable and Canvas's patterns. I love them. She makes amazing quiet fidget patterns. And this one pops in and out. I used some pipsqueak yarn and acrylic yarn to make her hair. I did this really cool texture. I also used this newer yarn. I will put right here what it's called for her tail. And I've got some of my Posh yarn, and this may be Baby Bear, but I think this is both Posh for her skin and little bra. I did, like I said, 3 different patterns by Cable and Canvas, so I'll go ahead and show all 3 of those together. So I also did 3 little frogs on lily pads. Right here. They also pop up and down. I use Premier Retro Velvet. For the frog itself, I used the same type of yarn that I used for the mermaid's tail. And then I will put right here what this other yarn is for the green. It's a newer yarn. I really liked it. It's very similar in feel to Posh. It's a smidge thinner, but if you adjust your tension, it's almost comparable. And I'm really excited. I might be getting some more as I replace my Posh. Although I did hear, and it's been confirmed, that Hirschner's is going to be carrying Big Twist. We just don't know what they're going to carry yet. So I'm super excited at that, and I am hoping that it is workable for me. So I got one more pattern that I did with canvas and cable and canvas. I did some itty bitty jelly pops. I missed one. So I got all three of them. This is all the same type of yarn as with the mermaid tail again. And then I used various types of glow-in-the-dark yarn. I'm going to again put them right here, their names. I think this one's Bling one. I can't remember. I spend more on yarn and it all kind of comes into a blur, so I'm gonna have to go into my Amazon orders and look it up. But anyways, these guys again pop up and down, and they have where their frill is a different color and glows in the dark. All of these, I need to figure out how I gotta go about showing you guys that this stuff glows in the dark. And then this one's a different brand, I think. But I did gray because I thought that'd be a really nice contrast to how bright the rainbow yarn is. But again, love these yarns. This yarn, by the way, is a comparable one to Posh as well, at least weight wise. I like to mix and match different yarn brands for different textures and formulas for the extra sensory feel to it. So like this guy's got all made out of the velvet yarn, but then this frill, the glow-in-the-dark yarn's another texture, so you can use that as an extra sensory level as well. And then I've also got, what's it called? Largemouth Bass Can Cozy by Serendipity Designs. I actually made these for last River Fete, and then I mislocated them, and I hadn't sewn on their dorsal fins yet. Well, I just sewed them on like 5 minutes before I recorded it because I found them. But they are so freaking cute. I've got another one that's been floating in my inventory, and I'm hoping that he'll do better once he's got friends to sit there with. I also got to remember to print out the little inserts to go in them to let people know that they're can koozies. I need to add that to my mental checklist. And that's it of these guys. Let me put them back in their bag. And then I want to show you guys the bigger items, and then I want to show y'all the bulk items that I have. Okay, so first big item I want to show you is I've got this giant sunflower throw pillow. I've been experimenting with throw pillows since Christmas time. I made a couple of giant mushroom throw pillows I showed you all in the last video, and they've been pretty well received. I've sold one almost every market, and I wanted to experiment with a few others. I've been eyeballing. This is the No Sew Sunflower pattern by Wonder Crochet. It's a free pattern. The other patterns I showed you were paid patterns. By the way, I've got them on Etsy, but this one's free. I use Sweet Snuggles I don't know what the yellow color is called, but they're yellow color. And then I used Barnett's Extra in mushroom color for the center, and I loved it. This pattern, it was a little time consuming because I had to make each individual petal by itself, but it made up for it, being that this is all worked into as one piece. I will also say that I did change how the start was. It had it start as a initial magic ring of 6. I altered it to be a magic ring of 8 until I got to close enough to the ending amount of stitches, and then I switched it over to a multiple of 6. And that was because it was kind of pointing at the front. It was probably my tension, not the pattern's problem, but we learned to adapt and overcome. So this guy was amazing. I really am excited for how he will be received. Or she. I don't know. It's kind of androgynous right now. And then this guy, I'm so excited for. Like, he took me 3 days to make. And I'm kind of, after making him last night, I finished him up at like 1 o'clock. But I kind of want to make more because he's so stinking cute. Is the, hold on, Medium Fairy Dragon by Sleek Grace. This is also a paid pattern. But look at his eyes, the colors, the wings, his little tail. Oh, and he's so snuggly. I love it. And he's got some good heft. I will say I changed the foot pattern so he could have little toe beans. I just threw in some bobble stitches. And then I also made his front feet a little smaller than his back feet, because that's how it was written. I mean, they were originally written to all be the same size. I just altered that a little bit. I can't remember how I did it, so that's going to be interesting come time for me to redo it. But he's got these pretty green glitter dragon eyes. I had never worked with them before. And I did configure his wings a little different, but I really like how it looks. They kind of stand up better on their own. He's got a little fuzzy right there. I'm going to go ahead and remove. But he's so precious and he's so beautiful, and I really think he needs a friend. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, also, I altered his horns. We were supposed to do separate little bumps to sew onto it. And by like midnight last night, I didn't want to do more sewing than I have to. So when I was making the big horns, I added some bobble stitches in instead. And I really like how it turned out. I'm probably going to do the others like this as well, because it added a really cool texture. I used Sweet Snuggles Light mint green or icy green. I can't remember what it's called. I didn't have the label on it anymore. And then this is Big Twist plush. I want to say it was mallard. Could be mallard. I think it was mallard. But this took about half my skein of my big twist plush, but I am okay with it. He turned out amazing. I haven't made a stuffed animal with this gauge of yarn at this size yet, and I'm really, really, really in love with him. I'm going to be very sad when he goes, but he's going to be so well loved. I can tell. Like, I love him. I can't stop snuggling him. Actually, he's just going to sit right here. Let's see. Can you see him? Yeah. And watch us. There we go. While I do... Okay. So, I've been making roses for my kids' co-op for the teacher gifts. And I need to make 40 of them. I want to have them done by Monday so I can be done with it. I still need to attach 2 stems. I'm hoping to be done with actually making the roses today so I can attach them to stems tomorrow. Sorry about that. Got interrupted by being a mom. Okay, so I was talking about the roses. I want to go through with you guys and also for myself and do a count on how many roses I have done. I've been doing them in this baby blanket yarn. I think it's a Barnett or Burnett. I always pronounce it wrong. Y'all should know the bare end. I'm talking about the same one that does the blanket yarn. So I actually had to buy another skein of this yarn because I thought the scraps that I had on hand would be enough, and I severely underestimated. So let's count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So I only need 13 more roses made. So I'm a lot further along than I thought. I made a bunch while I was at co-op today because I had some downtime. And so happy. I am so close to being done. But I am so done with making these. I feel like, what's her name in Holes, where she's telling at her grandpa, I'm done digging this desert, Grandpa. And he's like, well, keep on digging. I'm just like, that's how I feel every time I start a new one. It's like, I'm done, but I got to keep on going. And this is homework that only I assigned myself. So I got no one to blame but myself. All right. Another thing I want to do a bulk amount are, I have these reusable water balloons. Let's do a count because I can't remember how many of these have. I'd like to try to have enough for 10 sets of 12. But at this point, I think I'm just going to try for whatever I make. And if I end up where I have one set where it's a little off, then I'll just make whatever it'll take to make that last dozen come Wednesday. Because I'm cutting myself off on Wednesday. So that way I can have Thursday to go through and make sure I've got tags, record, tell you guys what all I've got made, all that good stuff. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So, currently right now, it looks like I've got just under 2 sets. Now that I see that, I'm probably going to, after I make the rest of the roses tonight, pop out a few more of these balloons because they take me like 20 minutes to make and do that. So that's all I've made this week so far. Some of it's left over from last week, but yeah, you're so cute. All right, now I want to get into what my goals are for next week. And keep in mind, this is counting like as soon as I'm done recording for me. So you guys do the math as to how many days that is if I have until Wednesday. I want to do 30 littles. Littles are where I make some of my quicker crochet items with velvet yarn instead of with the blanket or the blanket weight yarn. And I charge only $5 for those. I love having them as an option for people to get, because a lot of times they have kids who want something, but they just want something little to hold on to. And I do little triceratops, mushrooms, leggy frogs, little bitty octos, and little bitty spiders. And I might do some fish. I found some really quick fish patterns that I might add into that as well. And usually what I do is I go through, I pick out like 4 different velvet yarns, and I'll grab one thing of velvet and I'll go through the cycle of all the animals that I make with my littles, and then I move on to the next, and I just do that. I usually put on like an anime I'm watching, or one of my YouTubers I watch, like Bailey Sarian, Rachel Maskey, Prickly Alpaca, any of those type people that I can just kind of zone out with and just start cranking them out. And then usually what I'll do is I'll do them all, put them in a box or a basket or a bag, and then I'll go back, put all the eyes on, and then stuff and sew everybody's butts up. But that's one plan that I have. I want to try to make 30 of them. So I'm probably going to knock out 6 more roses tonight, because I think I've got one on the hook currently, so I won't count that in the 6. So that'll put me at only 6 roses tomorrow. And then I will knock out a bunch of the littles tomorrow. If I can knock out 10 a day till Wednesday, that should work out. I also want to do 3 more sets of 3 of my fidgets. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I just know I want to do some more fidgets, because currently I only have 9 fidgets. So if I do another 9, that'll give, I might do 4 sets just to make that a little bit more even. 3 and 3, so 18. That'll give me 21 fidgets. So we'll see how ambitious I am. Some of these fidgets are fairly quick. Some of them will take a little bit more time consuming. But I'm planning on doing that. I want to do 2 more cows. 1 regular cow, 1 Highland cow. I want to do 2 more chickens. At least one of those chickens being blue. I'm not too sure yet. And then I have my own possum pattern. I haven't figured out how to write it down yet, but I am planning on writing that pattern out semi soon. But I gotta make sure that I have it configured correctly, because I haven't made a possum in about a year. They're really freaking cute. The story behind the possum pattern is I was making stuff at the time, and my husband was out. I think he was running errands or something. And I asked him to give me an idea of an animal to make, and he almost hit a possum on the road. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make a possum pattern. I mean, not a possum pattern. Make a possum. Well, at the time, we were kind of broke, and I didn't want to have to pay for a pattern. So I was like, screw it. I can figure out how to make this guy. And my possum pattern was born. I don't think I have any current pictures. If I do, I'll put them here. This is for later editing me to figure out after the kids go to bed tonight. But that's my basic game plan today. Let me know what you guys think. Give me some more suggestions if you have any. I'm also debating on if I want to make another witch hat or two. I don't know, because my witch hats take me a little bit of time. And I've got a good supply right now. It's probably going to depend on if I get any more of my glow-in-the-dark acrylic yarn in, which it should be in today, but it's not in yet. So Amazon's letting me down right now. They've changed over from where the mail carrier delivers it and where Amazon delivers it, and I don't know how I feel about it. Some days it's great, some days it's a little sucky, but you know what? I live in the middle of nowhere, so that's kind of how it goes. But thank you very much for watching. I want you all to take care, get to whatever destination you're getting to safe. Know that you are loved and you are wanted. And have fun.